panic gripped Uche as he knelt beside her. Realizing the horror of what had happened, he screamed. People gathered and watched as Uche cried his life out. He kept on screaming, Amara, I accept, oh, Amara, I accept. I am a goat. I am a goat. Please don't do this to me. Don't do this to our son. In the big city of Abuja, there lived a man named Uche. He was known for his kindness and gentle spirit. Uche fell in love and got married to Amara, a beautiful woman whose fiery temperament soon revealed a darker side. Initially, their marriage seemed promising, but as time went on, Amara's true nature emerged. She nagged at every little provocation. She made sure that Uche never had peace. Uche does his best to keep her happy. Even though Amara stays at home while he goes to his shop daily, he comes home and does most of the house chores like sweeping and mopping the floor, washing the dirty dishes, and so on. Everything is a struggle with Amara. It became so bad that she didn't even cook for her husband. They found out she was pregnant, and that opened a new and very terrible chapter of their marriage to Uche. Amara used the pregnancy to torment him physically and emotionally. His friend Uzo pleaded with him to bear Amara's overbearing attitude and blamed it on pregnancy and hormonal surge. Uche practically did everything in the house during her pregnancy. He got tired and started to hire helps, but they eventually left because of Amara's maltreatment and wickedness. Uche patiently endured till she gave birth. The bad attitude he thought would stop after childbirth worsened. Amara belittled him, constantly criticizing his work and dismissing his dreams. You are a poor man and will never be anything more than a failure, she often said, her voice dripping with scorn. She threw things during arguments, her temper flaring like a raging storm, and Uche learned to tiptoe around her moods, always fearful of provoking her wrath. Most days, Uche would break down in pain at the unkind words his wife said to him. Her mother came to take care of her and Uche complained about his pain to her. Her mother tried talking to her, but Amara took it out on Uche and tormented him the most for discussing her with her mother. Amara's parents tried to talk to her, but there was no positive change. She stopped her husband's family members and friends from visiting them. She wouldn't allow them to see her son. This hurt Uche, but just for peace to reign, he allowed her to have her way. Amara demanded a glamorous child education. Uche didn't have the funds, but she wouldn't let him rest. She kept on insulting him and calling him names. He was on the verge of losing it, so he decided to go and borrow money so they could have a big party. He asked Uzo, his friend, and Uzo warned him seriously not to make such a mistake. Uche, how can you borrow money not to even boost your business but to feed the public? You keep breaking protocols for this woman that wouldn't even give you peace of mind. You have a project that you have not touched since you married her, yet she doesn't care, and now she's telling you to borrow money for a party? Don't try it, my friend. There and then, Uche made up his mind not to borrow the money. Amara nearly killed him, but he survived. Gradually, Uche started to become a shadow of himself. He would sit and be talking to himself. The once ever cheerful and happy Uche is now a shadow of himself. Uzo watched with growing concern. You deserve better, Uche, he warned during one of their gatherings. Amara is toxic. You need to leave her. For how long do you think you can cope with this toxicity? But Uche, clinging to the belief that love could change her, chose to stay, hoping that she might one day show the love he once knew. Divorce is not what he bargained for, but Amara was making life so unbearable for him. As time passed, the abuse escalated. Amara's emotional manipulation left him feeling trapped. She would threaten to leave him whenever he disagreed or failed to meet her demands. You are nothing without me. I will leave you and go with my child, and you will never see us again. Amara noticed how scared Uche gets whenever she says she would leave, so she resorted to using it to threaten him. She would borrow huge sums of money from people or friends and demand that Uche pay for it. If he refuses, then she would start packing her things and threaten to leave. Her borrowing became too much and she became too demanding, always asking for the latest phone, hair, shoes, bags, and jewelries. She told Uche that she is a big girl and would forever live the big girl's life. Uche had no problem with her decision and lifestyle, but the problem is that the lifestyle is so much above his income. When she became too demanding, Uche begged her to reconsider another business so she could also help him fund her lifestyle. Even though she ruined the first business he started for her 3 months after their wedding. Amara had always been a hairstylist, so she told her husband that a salon would be okay for her. Uche invested almost all he had in that shop, got her the reigning equipment to attract high-paying customers, filled her shop with goods. He felt so proud of himself. For a few weeks, Amara acted normal, making Uche believe that she had come back to her senses. Uche had his own business, so he never bothered to go to Amara's shop to know how things were going. One day, he came back from work and met people standing and shouting in front of his house. They were calling Amara to come out. Uche asked them what they wanted and they told him Amara owed them. She bought some jewelries, made a deposit and promised to pay, but hasn't paid them. Uche was angry. He called his wife and demanded an explanation. But to his greatest surprise, he learned that it wasn't just about the jewelry that she bought. His wife had sold some of the equipment in her salon and used the money to pay for the items she bought. She had sold almost everything in her shop just to keep up with her Instagram appearance. Uche cried out in frustration. He couldn't stop the tears from flowing, so he quietly turned and left Amara and her guests. Amara started shouting at him to come and pay up the money or else she would leave his house the next morning. But this time, Uche was fed up. He has had enough. He knows how much he invested in that salon and now this. No, I can't do this anymore. I can't continue like this, he said amidst tears as he left the house. Amara continued to quarrel with them. She had intentionally told them to come and fight so that if her husband sees them, he would pay the money to avoid embarrassment. But the turnout of events shocked her and made her angry. Uche found solace in a local bar. As he sat drinking, lost in thought, Amara burst in, her face a mask of rage. Uche, so you think you can just escape me, she shouted, drawing the attention of people. Uche tried to move away from her, but she gave him a very strong slap. Uche froze. He was burning with rage, but still managed to avoid his wife. Uche, you are a goat. I said you are a goat, Amara shouted at him. She knows how much he hates her calling him a goat, but she did that just to get at him. Then she bounced on him. He angrily pushed her away. The push, meant to create distance, sent her tumbling backward and she hit her head on a table. In an instant, she lay still. Panic gripped Uche as he knelt beside her. Realizing the horror of what had happened, he screamed. People gathered and watched as Uche cried his life out. He kept on screaming, Amara, accept, oh, I am a goat. I am a goat. Amara, please don't do this to me. Don't do this to our son. Please wake up. Uche was arrested. The neighbors who were around when it all happened testified against Amara. Her father cried. If only she listened to me when I begged her to give her husband some peace, she would have still been alive. Her mother insisted that Uche killed her daughter. There were videos taken by people who were at the bar. The court found Uche not guilty as he killed his wife in self-defense. Uche wept with so much pain. Guilt consumed him, a reminder of the years spent enduring her abuse. I did my best to make my marriage work. I tried so hard to provide for Amara and make her happy, but I was not good enough for her, and now she's gone. My wife does not deserve to die like this. If only I had listened to Uzo and left Amara when I had the opportunity, at least my son would still have a mother. You must forgive yourself, Uzo urged gently. You couldn't have known it would end this way. At least, this should be a lesson to you that no matter how you love someone, you should be your priority. Your sanity matters. Abuse of any kind should not be condoned. Amara abused you physically and emotionally. Imagine living with your wife and she denied you your conjugal rights for 7 months, but still you endured. Please take it easy on yourself, my friend. Uche's journey toward healing began slowly. He learned to share his story, becoming a voice for those who suffered in silence. He found strength in his pain and used it to help others recognize the signs of abuse, understanding that no one deserves to live in fear. Moral lesson: 1. Recognize toxic relationships. It's crucial to identify when a relationship is harmful. Love should not come with constant fear or pain. Emotional manipulation is abuse. Recognizing emotional abuse is vital. It can be just as damaging as physical abuse, and seeking help is essential. Choosing to leave. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to leave a toxic relationship. Prioritizing your well-being is a sign of strength. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you are coming across my channel for the first time, please subscribe to my channel to support my growth. And to my previous subscribers, thank you for your support. I really appreciate. Do not forget to turn on your notification bell for more interesting stories from Amaka's folk tales. Bye bye.